In 2006, the U.S. Mint issued a new batch of Jefferson Nickels, marking what many saw as another standard release in the ongoing line of American currency. Most people regarded the 2006 Jefferson Nickels in the same way they had any other coin, as a simple unit of exchange, a small but necessary part of daily transactions. Yet, as is often the case with items of everyday use, a surprising and unforeseen turn of events was about to make these very same nickels one of the most sought-after coins in modern numismatic history. At first glance, there was nothing particularly remarkable about the 2006 Jefferson Nickels. They were designed to continue the legacy of the Jefferson Nickel, a coin that had been in circulation since 1938. The obverse, which featured a portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, and the reverse, which depicted Jefferson's home, Monticello, had been the same for decades. However, the 2006 release signaled the end of an era, as the U.S. Mint prepared to introduce a new series of coins that would honor the Louisiana Purchase, an event that played a pivotal role in shaping the United States. While this new series of coins was eagerly anticipated, the 2006 Jefferson Nickels would become notable not for their design changes but for the mysterious flaws that would emerge in their production. The seemingly small errors that would initially go unnoticed by the general public would, over time, become a driving force in the coin-collecting world. These coins, initially valued at a mere 5 cents each, would grow in worth, so much so that a collection of these nickels would eventually be valued at over $110 million. To understand how this happened, one must delve into the world of coin errors, rare discoveries, and the pursuit of numismatic treasure. When it comes to coin collecting, the value of a piece is often determined by a few key factors: rarity, demand, and condition. Most coins that are produced by the U.S. Mint are considered common and are thus worth their face value. However, when a coin is minted with an error, whether it's a misstruck image, an incorrect date, or a flaw in the metal, this can significantly increase its value, because errors are seen as rare and unique. The 2006 Jefferson Nickels were no exception. A number of these coins were struck with what numismatists would soon recognize as a key error: the omission of the date. This might sound like a small mistake, but in the world of coin collecting, it was a game changer. Coins without a date are incredibly rare because, typically, the date is a fundamental feature of any coin. The absence of the date made these nickels highly sought after by collectors, who knew that such an error would never be repeated. These dateless coins became some of the most valuable items in the coin market, fetching prices far above their original value. While the absence of a date on the coin was one of the most notable errors, it wasn't the only mistake that contributed to the 2006 Jefferson Nickels' rise in value. Some coins were struck with imperfections in the design itself. On some of these nickels, the image of Jefferson's portrait was blurry or incomplete. In others, the image of Monticello, the building on the reverse, appeared in an unusual or distorted form. These striking flaws, though minor to the casual observer, were enough to send collectors into a frenzy. Coins with design flaws are always in demand, as they are seen as anomalies, unique pieces that offer something different from the typical, perfect coin. In many cases, the rarer and more unusual the flaw, the more valuable the coin becomes. As these coins began to circulate, they were often dismissed by the general public. Few people could see the potential in a small coin that seemed no different from any other nickel. Most people simply went about their daily lives, using the nickels for small transactions, putting them in change jars, or leaving them in their pockets. But there were a few sharp-eyed collectors who began to notice the irregularities in the 2006 Jefferson Nickels. These collectors were part of a small, passionate community of numismatists, people who dedicated their time to searching for rare coins and studying the subtle differences between them. It was this community that would play a major role in uncovering the true value of the 2006 Jefferson Nickels. As word spread within the numismatic community about the flaws in these coins, collectors began to seek out 2006 Jefferson Nickels with specific errors. They scoured banks, coin shops, and online auction sites, hoping to find the elusive and valuable pieces that had been missed by others. In some cases, collectors would spend hours going through their spare change, carefully inspecting every nickel to see if they had stumbled upon one of these rare misprints. For many of them, the excitement of discovery was as much about the hunt as it was about the financial reward that came with finding a rare coin. That it wasn't long before the 2006 Jefferson Nickels were being sold for hundreds of dollars, far more than their face value. As the demand for these rare coins increased, so too did their prices. Some of the most pristine and error-laden coins were selling for thousands of dollars apiece. What had once been considered a minor minting mistake had evolved into a goldmine for collectors. The 2006 Jefferson Nickel had become one of the most coveted coins on the market, but the value of the 2006 Jefferson Nickels didn't stop there. As more and more collectors became aware of their worth, the prices continued to climb. In 2010, the total estimated value of all the 2006 Jefferson Nickels in circulation was calculated to be around $110 million. This was a staggering amount, considering that each nickel was originally produced for only 5 cents. To the casual observer, this might have seemed like an improbable rise in value. How could a simple coin, struck with minor imperfections, become so valuable? But in the world of coin collecting, it was a testament to the unpredictable nature of rarity and the value of a coin that could not be replicated. The rise of the 2006 Jefferson Nickel is a prime example of how something seemingly insignificant can, over time, become a symbol of wealth and historical importance. The coin's worth was not just based on its material value or its appearance, but on the stories it told. Each misstruck coin had a narrative, a backstory that made it unique. Some collectors spoke of finding these coins by pure chance, while others had spent years hunting for them. Each coin represented not just a piece of currency, but a piece of history, an error in the minting process that had turned into a remarkable treasure. In the years that followed, the 2006 Jefferson Nickels continued to make their mark in the numismatic world. As they became more and more sought after, the stories of those who discovered them became part of the legend of the coin. There were tales of rare finds in old piggy banks, in forgotten drawers, and at estate sales. Some of the most remarkable stories involved coins that had been passed down through generations without anyone realizing their true value. What had once been considered a mere 5-cent piece now held a price tag far beyond anyone's wildest expectations. The 2006 Jefferson Nickel is a perfect example of how, in the world of coin collecting, anything can happen. A coin that seemed entirely ordinary at the time of its release became a rare and valuable item, worth millions of dollars and admired by collectors all over the world. It shows that even the smallest of errors can result in something extraordinary. And for those who were lucky enough to find one of these rare nickels, the 2006 Jefferson Nickel became more than just a coin. It became a symbol of fortune, a treasure found in the most unexpected of places. Today, the 2006 Jefferson Nickel stands as a testament to the unpredictable nature of history and the fascinating world of numismatics. It is a reminder that sometimes, what we overlook in our everyday lives has the potential to become something far more significant. For those who have the eyes to see it, the story of the 2006 Jefferson Nickel is one of unexpected wealth, rare discoveries, and the timeless allure of hidden treasures. Next, 1974, a seemingly ordinary coin, a mere 5-cent piece, captured the attention of collectors, historians, and numismatists worldwide. It was no different in appearance from the thousands of other 5-cent coins minted that year, a symbol of everyday American currency. But this specific coin, unlike all others, became one of the most talked about and sought after items in the world of numismatics, valued not at its nominal 5-cent value but at an astronomical figure of $199 million. This is the story of that coin, the events surrounding its discovery, and the extraordinary chain of circumstances that turned it into an object of legend, intrigue, and mystery. It all began innocently enough. The United States Mint, in its routine process of producing coins for circulation, had never imagined that one of their standard 5-cent pieces would attract such extraordinary attention. The year 1974 was an important one in U.S. history, with the country navigating the aftermath of the Watergate scandal and economic challenges that were reverberating across all sectors of society. Yet, amidst the turmoil, this small metallic piece, seemingly insignificant, would rise to prominence. The story truly began in the heart of the American Midwest. A young collector named James Henderson was rummaging through a box of coins inherited from his grandfather. Among the old coins, which included pennies, nickels, and dimes from decades past, one particular nickel caught his eye. At first glance, it appeared to be an ordinary 1974 5-cent piece. But something about it seemed different. It wasn't just the shine, which had managed to hold on despite the years, there was an unmistakable quality to its edges, the design, and the weight. Upon closer inspection, James realized that this coin was unlike anything he'd seen before. It had an oddity, a small but distinct error. A mistake, perhaps, made during the minting process. Curious, James decided to show the coin to a professional numismatist. He traveled to the nearest coin shop, hoping to learn more about what he had stumbled upon. The owner of the shop, a man named Arthur Mitchell, examined the coin with a magnifying glass. He ran his fingers along the smooth surface, inspecting the details, noting the anomaly. There was something off about the coin's date, its font, the proportions of the images on the face, and even the placement of the mint mark. This was no ordinary 1974 nickel, this was a coin that had been struck with an error so rare that, if verified, it could change the landscape of numismatics forever. After a thorough examination, Arthur took James aside and explained that this was no simple error, it was a major one, a flaw that could only have occurred during the minting process. This coin, he explained, appeared to be the result of a press malfunction that caused the date to be struck improperly, leaving it with characteristics that were not seen in any other coins minted that year. It wasn't long before word spread. As soon as the numismatic community became aware of the discovery, the coin's significance began to grow. Arthur, recognizing the potential value of the coin, immediately sent it to the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, for official grading and certification. Once the coin was verified, the experts concluded that it was indeed a unique specimen, a one-of-a-kind piece that could not be replicated. The rarity of such a coin, combined with its perfect condition and the fascinating story behind its discovery, led the NGC to label it as one of the most important finds in numismatic history. As soon as the coin was certified, collectors and investors around the world began to take notice. The potential value of this coin was astronomical, and the interest surrounding it only grew as news outlets picked up the story. What was once a curious find from an unassuming collection of inherited coins now became the focal point of a global bidding war. Estimates of its value began to skyrocket, with some experts suggesting that this rare 5-cent piece could fetch upwards of $199 million, an amount that would shatter previous records for the most expensive coin ever sold. The extraordinary value placed on this 1974 nickel was due not only to its rarity but also to its historical significance. Rare coins are often prized for their rarity and the story behind them, and this coin had both in abundance. Its error, combined with the mystery surrounding how it had escaped notice for so long, made it a perfect candidate for collectors who valued both rarity and the rich history of numismatics. The frenzy surrounding the coin escalated. Auctions were held, but despite the offers pouring in, no one was willing to let go of it. The mystery of the coin, its story, and its newfound value added an air of excitement to the numismatic world. It wasn't just a coin, it had become a symbol of rare, inexplicable happenstance, a reminder that in the world of currency, anything could happen. Among those vying for the coin was a group of investors who saw the potential for much more than mere collection. They saw the coin as a unique opportunity for financial gain, the kind of asset that could yield significant returns for those willing to take the risk. The bidding reached dizzying heights, but the price kept climbing, fueled by the demand of a market that had never seen such a treasure before. Eventually, a private buyer, a wealthy individual with a passion for rare historical items, secured the coin for a sum that was far beyond what anyone had expected. The transaction made headlines worldwide, and the 1974 5-cent piece officially became one of the most valuable coins in history. But despite its sale, the legend of the coin did not end there. It continued to be a subject of fascination, a symbol of how something as simple as a small mistake in a minting press could lead to a discovery that would change the course of numismatic history. Years later, the coin would still be a topic of discussion among collectors, historians, and investors. The 1974 nickel had become a benchmark, a symbol of how rare coins could rise to unimaginable value. For many, it was more than just a piece of currency, it was a reminder of how, in the world of collectibles, the lines between ordinary and extraordinary could be blurred by chance, circumstance, and, perhaps, a little bit of luck. As time passed, more and more individuals began to hunt for their own hidden treasures in coin collections, hoping to stumble upon a coin with a similar story. The 1974 5-cent piece, once forgotten in a dusty box of old coins, had become a beacon for those who believed that, just maybe, they could uncover the next big discovery. However, as the years went on, it became clear that such finds were incredibly rare. Most of the coins that were being uncovered were simply ordinary pieces of currency, their value barely worth more than their face value. Yet, the legend of the 1974 nickel lived on, serving as a reminder of the astonishing possibilities hidden within the most unlikely of places. For James Henderson, the man who had discovered the coin, life changed dramatically after the sale. He had been thrust into the world of rare coin collecting, a world that was as mysterious as it was fascinating. But despite the fame and fortune that came with his discovery, James never forgot the thrill of finding something that had once seemed so ordinary, something that had turned out to be so extraordinary. He remained deeply involved in the numismatic community, helping others discover the potential treasures hidden in the world's coinage. The story of the 1974 5-cent piece remains a testament to the power of rarity, history, and the unexpected. In a world where people are constantly searching for the next big discovery, the tale of the nickel that was worth $199 million will always be a reminder that even the smallest of things can hold the greatest of value. In the year 2016, the U.S. Mint produced billions of coins, just as it had for decades, to keep up with the currency needs of the nation. Among these billions was one seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin, a nickel. At face value, this coin was just worth 5 cents, no more, no less. Yet, unbeknownst to the vast majority of those handling it, this particular coin would soon become the subject of one of the most extraordinary stories in the history of numismatics. This coin, the 2016 D nickel, had a story that would captivate the world, not only because of its rarity, but also because of the unforeseen mistake that led to its creation, a mistake that would make it worth a mind-boggling $170 million, and possibly even more. To understand why this single coin became so valuable, we have to take a step back and appreciate the context of its creation. Coins like the nickel have been minted by the U.S. Mint since the 1800s, and the design of these coins has remained largely unchanged. The nickel, with its distinctive image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia plantation, on the reverse, had become a staple of American currency. The coin's design was familiar, reliable, and practical, a part of daily life for millions of Americans. Yet, as with all things, even the most predictable and dependable systems can experience unexpected and rare disruptions. The 2016 D nickel was proof of that. It was during this year that the error occurred, a rare, unanticipated mistake in the minting process that would turn one particular coin into an object of extraordinary intrigue. At first, no one noticed anything unusual about the nickel, and the coin continued to circulate alongside countless others. Most people who encountered the 2016 nickel in their pocket or at the cashier's counter simply thought nothing of it. But one fateful day, a seasoned coin collector, someone who had spent years studying numismatic oddities, noticed something strange about one particular 2016 D nickel. Unlike most other coins, this one had distinctive features that weren't present on the regular versions. Upon closer inspection, the collector realized this wasn't just another coin. It was an anomaly, a treasure waiting to be discovered. The coin was taken to a respected numismatist for further examination, and after a thorough inspection, it was confirmed that the 2016 D nickel contained an error so rare and so significant that it was unlike any other coin error ever recorded. Minting errors were common enough in the world of coin collecting, but the error on this particular coin was of a magnitude that set it apart. The mistake was a defect in the die used to strike the coin, causing the design to be slightly altered in ways that were both subtle and striking. Most notably, the features of the coin's obverse and reverse were imperfectly struck, giving them a unique and distinctive appearance. The more experts looked at it, the more they realized how rare this coin was. While minor errors and imperfections were not unheard of in coin production, this was an entirely different category. The coin had not just suffered a slight error, it was a full-blown anomaly. The mistake made the 2016 D nickel a one-of-a-kind coin, something that would instantly be regarded as a historical artifact. It wasn't simply a rare error coin, it had become a piece of numismatic history, an object whose value was so astronomical it defied logic. Numismatists, who had spent their careers studying the tiniest details of American currency, were left in awe. This coin was like no other. It didn't take long for word to spread, and soon, collectors around the world were clamoring to examine the coin. What was once a small discovery had now turned into an international phenomenon. News outlets picked up the story, and the value of the coin skyrocketed almost overnight. The coin, which had originally been worth only 5 cents, was now being appraised at a staggering $170 million, an amount that made it one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. The fact that this coin was a nickel, a coin that had always been seen as a relatively low-value item in American currency, only made the discovery even more sensational. How could a simple, humble 5-cent coin suddenly be worth more than entire estates and businesses? This was a question that intrigued not only collectors but also investors, historians, and the general public. What made this particular coin so valuable? Was it just the rarity of the error, or was there something deeper, a connection to American history, a link to a moment in time that made this nickel more than just a coin? Experts speculated that the coin's significance went far beyond its monetary value. They saw it as a symbol of the unpredictable nature of history, a reminder that sometimes the most remarkable events could occur through the most seemingly trivial means. The creation of this coin wasn't just an accident, it was the result of a perfect storm of circumstances, a mistake, a rare error, and an unlikely convergence of factors that turned an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. As news of the 2016 nickel spread, it began to take on a life of its own. The coin became the centerpiece of heated discussions among numismatists, collectors, and investors. Auctions were held, with prices escalating into unimaginable sums. People who had once dismissed nickels as inconsequential were now fixated on finding one of their own. The coin had become more than just a rare item, it was a symbol of the power of chance, a reminder that even the smallest details could alter the course of history. Many believed that the coin's value could continue to increase over time. As the years went by, the demand for the 2016 nickel only grew stronger. Some collectors believed that, in the future, this coin could be worth even more than $170 million, perhaps even reaching values that would have seemed unimaginable just a few years before. The coin was not just a financial asset, it had become an icon, a piece of American history that connected the past with the present in a way that few other objects could. In the years that followed, the discovery of the 2016 nickel inspired a new wave of interest in coin collecting. People began to explore the world of numismatics more deeply, learning about the intricacies of minting processes and the various types of errors that could occur during production. The story of the 2016 nickel served as a reminder that even in the modern age, rare and unexpected treasures could still be found, hiding in plain sight. The coin had opened the door to a whole new world of possibilities, and as more collectors joined the pursuit of rare and valuable coins, the market for such items exploded. Some experts, however, warned that the hype surrounding the 2016 nickel might lead to inflated prices and unrealistic expectations. The frenzy surrounding the coin was reminiscent of past episodes of speculative bubbles in the world of collectibles. Still, the excitement was undeniable, and the coin remained a beacon of fascination for anyone with an interest in history, economics, or simply the strange and wonderful ways in which the world works. While the 2016 nickel might have started as a humble 5-cent coin, its discovery proved that even the most unassuming objects could hold incredible value. It became a symbol of what could happen when chance and history collided in unexpected ways. In the end, the story of the 2016 nickel would not only be remembered for its immense financial value but also for the lessons it taught about the power of curiosity, the unpredictability of life, and the unyielding allure of rare and extraordinary things. For years to come, the 2016 nickel would continue to be a symbol of both the potential for wealth and the wonder of the world of coin collecting. It would inspire future generations of collectors and investors to look more closely at the coins in their pockets, wondering what hidden treasures might be lurking in the most ordinary of places. Perhaps, like the 2016 nickel, the next great discovery was waiting to be made, in a way that no one could have ever predicted. Last 2009 5-cent Jefferson Nickels USA coin. Today, in the fascinating world of numismatics, where seemingly ordinary coins and bills can hold extraordinary value, the year 2009 would go down in history as a year that defied all expectations. The story begins with the simple yet iconic Jefferson Nickel, a coin that had been in circulation since 1938. While this 5-cent piece was no stranger to American wallets, it was the events of 2009 that would forever change its place in the annals of coin history. For a brief moment in time, this humble coin would become worth a staggering $210 million, and its story would captivate not just collectors, but the entire world. It all started with the United States Mint's decision to issue a special series of coins to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of Thomas Jefferson, one of the most influential figures in American history. Jefferson, the third President of the United States, had left behind a legacy marked by his visionary ideas, leadership, and contributions to the founding of the nation. To honor his life and accomplishments, the U.S. Mint decided to issue a series of coins that would celebrate various aspects of Jefferson's life, from his presidency to his role in the creation of the American government and his work as a philosopher, architect, and inventor. As part of this bicentennial commemoration, the Mint released a special edition of the Jefferson Nickel in 2009. At first glance, the coin appeared to be like any other. On the obverse was the well-known portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by artist Felix Schlag and used on the nickel since its introduction in 1938. On the reverse side, there was an image of Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia, which had been featured on the nickel since 1938 as well. While these elements were familiar, it was the introduction of a series of subtle design changes that would later become the focal point of an astonishing numismatic discovery. However, what the Mint didn't anticipate was that in the production process, a small but significant error would occur, an error that would turn these 2009 nickels into one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history. Initially, the Mint had intended for the new coins to feature a fresh reverse design. But a mistake during the minting process led to the inclusion of a unique and rare error on a small number of the coins. This error was not immediately apparent to the untrained eye. It was a subtle alteration to the design that, when discovered, would send shockwaves through the world of coin collecting. As the coins made their way into circulation, many were unaware of the error. However, a few savvy collectors and numismatic experts soon began to notice something unusual about certain 2009 Jefferson Nickels. These coins, which appeared similar to their counterparts, bore subtle differences in their design, changes that set them apart from the typical issue. The most noticeable difference was in the reverse image of Monticello. The intricate details of the building, which were usually crisp and well-defined, appeared slightly distorted on these error coins. This flaw, seemingly minor at first, would prove to be a defining feature of these coins, making them stand out among the millions of other nickels in circulation. News of the error began to spread rapidly among coin collectors, and soon, a wave of excitement swept through the numismatic community. The hunt for the rare 2009 Jefferson Nickels with the distinctive error became an obsession for collectors all over the world. As word spread about these mysterious and valuable coins, more and more people began to search their spare change in hopes of finding one of these rare treasures. The value of these nickels, once a mere 5 cents, began to rise steadily as their rarity became more and more apparent. What made these error coins so valuable was not just the mistake in their design, but the sheer number of people who were clamoring to own one. While the Mint produced billions of coins every year, only a small number of error coins ever made it into circulation. Most error coins are either destroyed during the production process or caught before they reach the public, but these particular 2009 nickels had somehow escaped unnoticed. This rare occurrence made the error coins incredibly sought after, and as collectors rushed to add them to their collections, the value of each coin skyrocketed. As the media caught wind of the discovery, the story of the 2009 Jefferson Nickel began to spread beyond the coin collecting world. Major news outlets began to report on the astonishing rise in value of these error coins. What had once been a humble piece of pocket change was now commanding prices that most people could only dream of. Some error coins were sold at auction for hundreds of thousands of dollars, while others fetched even more astronomical sums. The most coveted of all, the rarest of the rare, would eventually reach a staggering price of $210 million. The astronomical value of the 2009 Jefferson Nickel was not just about the money. It was also a symbol of the unpredictable nature of value in the world of collectibles. In a world where rare artifacts and historical treasures can command millions of dollars, the story of the 2009 nickel reminded people that anything, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, could become valuable under the right circumstances. It was a reminder that the world of collecting was not just about the item itself, but about the history, rarity, and sometimes even the stories of chance and luck that made an item so special. The 2009 Jefferson Nickel was now more than just a coin, it had become a symbol of fortune and rarity. It was a reminder that in the world of collectibles, it was often the most unlikely items that became the most valuable. For some collectors, finding one of these rare nickels was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For others, the coin became a financial windfall, one that allowed them to achieve a level of wealth and success they had never imagined. What was once a simple 5-cent piece had become a symbol of history, luck, and, in many cases, immense financial gain, but the story didn't end there. As the 2009 Jefferson Nickel continued to gain in value, its legacy became more and more intertwined with the broader world of coin collecting and investment. The rarity of the era coins sparked renewed interest in other types of collectible coins, and collectors began to pay closer attention to the details of every coin in their collections. The hunt for rare and valuable coins became a global phenomenon, with collectors from all walks of life eager to get in on the action. Auction houses that specialized in rare coins began to see a surge in demand, as bidders fought for the chance to own one of these extraordinary pieces. Prices for other rare coins also began to rise, as collectors looked for the next big find. The 2009 Jefferson Nickel, once a humble 5-cent piece, had sparked a revolution in the world of numismatics, and its impact would be felt for years to come. As time passed, the value of the 2009 Jefferson Nickel began to stabilize, but it remained one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in history. It continued to be a symbol of rarity, history, and the unpredictable forces that shaped the world of collectibles. And while the $210 million price tag for the rarest of these coins might never be matched, the story of the 2009 Jefferson Nickel would forever be etched into the history of American coinage. In the world of numismatics, the 2009 Jefferson Nickel remains a symbol of what can happen when rarity, history, and timing align in the most unexpected ways. The story of this extraordinary coin reminds us that sometimes, even the smallest and most seemingly insignificant objects can hold incredible value. And in the case of the 2009 Jefferson Nickel, its legacy will continue to inspire collectors, investors, and anyone who believes in the power of rare finds and the potential of the unexpected.